Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Daniel Lewis, and this is the Microphone Madness podcast, where we talk about music, sometimes movies, occasionally video games. Today, we're talking about Eminem's 8 Mile. Very excited to talk about this movie. This is the second music movie together kind of collab that I'm doing as an fucking review. And the first movie I did that was kind of similar to this was 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Trying, which is the actual first episode where I started filming this podcast. But I did mention I might bring up Eminem's 8 Mile, and honestly, I'm happy I did 50 Cent's movie first, because after seeing this movie, I'm like, yo, 50 Cent's movie sucked more than I thought it did. Even though I was kind of in the middle, like it was like kind of crappy and good. But this movie, I really don't have that much bad to say about it. But we'll go over it, you know? Thanks for watching, guys. You know, I'm sure if you don't know who Eminem is, I mean, here's what Eminem looks like. I'll probably put a picture of who Eminem is. If you don't know who Eminem is, I mean, he was a really big rapper in the early 2000s. If you like rap music, you know who fucking Eminem is. I don't really have to talk about Eminem too much, guys. I mean, Eminem is probably the biggest rapper of our time, of our generation, of the fucking whole genre of rap as a whole. I mean, Eminem's Eminem. Eminem's Eminem. I'm not gonna lie. Before I got into rock music, you know, growing up in New York, being into classic rock, hip hop, 80s, just a whole plethora of different types of music. I did gravitate towards rap before I got into rock music, and getting into like A Tribe Called Quest, Biggie Smalls, Nas, East Coast rap, the beginning of rap, that kind of era of rap music is kind of where I found the most interest in versus like early 2000s rap. Eminem started in the 90s. This is a movie loosely based on his life or based off of true events, you know, kind of thing. It's not like every single thing that happened in this movie is like exactly to the T what happened to him. But, hey guys, this is a fucking depressing movie. It's not a very happy movie. So if you're not in the mood, if you're like feeling kind of sad, maybe don't watch this movie. You know, a lot of crappy things happen to Eminem in this movie. Eminem, you know, from Detroit, the 313 area code, wasn't easy for him, you know, performing and doing rap battles, which is in this movie. You know, there's things that touch upon his life, you know, so just didn't seem very easy for Eminem. Watching, and you know what, I love watching early Eminem videos with him starting off. Really cool stuff. Recommend you guys checking that out on YouTube. This movie took $41 million to make, but it made $51 million the first week. So like right away, people were like, "Oh, this is a good movie." People saw it in theaters. They liked it. It's definitely a drama. You know, a depressing drama about a aspiring artist's life, living in 90s Detroit, you know, and the way that they depict that, it's like really dark and gloomy. We'll talk a little bit about the cinematography, but overall, this was a huge success. It made $250 million out of a movie that was like $41 million to make, so that's a good amount of, like, it's a good return, you know, so hell yeah on that. Not surprised. Really vibey movie. It's vibe, you know? This movie is timeless. I'm not trying to fucking just say shit to say shit. It's how I really feel about 8 Mile deep down, you know? Regardless of Eminem, it could just be a movie about a rapper, you know? A white rapper. You know, I'm sure after people saw this movie, they wanted to rap, especially white people, which I think is kind of corny. Just be true to yourself, and that's what the main message is to this movie. You know, there's a lot of cool messages, a lot of strong messages in this movie that make this movie bigger than it is, to be honest. Something like that, you know? So, it's multi-award winning in 2005. It got the MTV Music Award, Teen Choice Awards. It got a Golden Globe Award. It got a BMI Film Festival Music Award, and it also got a Grammy. And it's famous on the internet with the meme, "Yo, Mom Spaghetti." You know Mom Spaghetti? Mother Spaghetti? Mother Spaghetti? This movie comes from that, a lot of snapshots of like Eminem in the bathroom, Mom Spaghetti, all those jokes. Mom Spaghetti from the song called Lose Yourself, which is that Grammy Award winning song, which is one of Eminem's biggest fucking songs, came from this fucking movie. I mean, he did a crazy job in this movie when it comes to the soundtrack, the fucking one song off the movie, a fucking performance. The whole thing is like 100% him trying the best he could to make the craziest fucking film. And I think he really succeeded when it comes to a music related movie that's a drama, Not that many big actors or actresses in it. One of them I want to mention is Brittany Murphy, which was his love interest in the movie. She's kind of a grimy chick in the movie, but unfortunately she died in 2009. She was in a lot of big movies. She was a big movie actress at the time of the early 2000s. She did a great job in this movie. And unfortunately she died because of pneumonia. Or some kind of like lung condition, because her and her husband died the same time, coincidentally, because of like there was like mold in her house or something like that. It was like a really tragic death during that time, and like that's really kind of like what's spoken of when she's brought up, is just like how kind of tragic she died. So shout out to Brittany Murphy, great actress, does a great job in this movie, and the one thing that I really like about this movie is that everybody that plays their role in the movie, like all the characters, and how the characters should be portrayed, everybody did the fucking greatest job of making it super believable, For example, like Eminem's mother, she kind of plays this mom that, kind of, on the surface or what she says or deep down, she really does care about her son, which is Eminem, and her younger daughter. And, she tries to help as much as she can, but she's got some mental illness deep down, when it comes to her choices, or maybe when it comes to her choices, and who knows what she's gone through. It shows a lot of underlying, like, you could really think about it when it comes to these characters and, like, who they are deep down. So, just wanted to mention that. The cinematography in this movie is great. It has a lot of green undertones. I think like maybe around the time like Matrix was coming out or something, it kind of has this like greenish, like Matrixy kind of look to it in some parts of the movie, especially in the beginning of the movie, that kind of give it like a gritty, dark, like, I don't know, like, just that gritty vibe, gives it this vibe, that, like that, like you're in the city of Detroit kind of feel. And I really did appreciate that and like that and notice that about like the color grade, and a lot of different scenes. Even when he's on the bus, he got that color grade. When he's in the bathroom, he got that color grade. It's just this kind of cool, like dark atmospheric color grade with these green undertones that I actually really did like about the film a lot, that made it a vibe. That's why I'm saying this movie's a vibe. So starts off in the beginning, he's called B Rabbit. I don't like why. I don't know why. Maybe because it's like Bugs Bunny or it's a rabbit or whatever the fuck it is. I think his mom called him Rabbit or something like that. I don't really like that. I think it was kind of like, that was like one of the things where I was like, he couldn't have been called like Eminem. Like they couldn't have, I don't know. But his name is Jimmy in the movie. It's not Marshall Mathers. It's not really talking about specifically himself. He plays a different person as himself in the movie. It's kind of weird and meta, but hey, that didn't really bother me too much. It's supposed to be a film, And I think that they didn't want to have it be like, oh, this is exactly Shit, I just burped. This is exactly his life, like exactly who he was. We're not gonna name it him, whatever it may be. Kind of made sense when it came to like writing the movie. So starts off in the beginning. He's in the bathroom, looking in the mirror, getting ready for his like rap battle or something like that, and it kind of gives you this vibe that he's like an up and coming artist, and like this is where it was like he got so nervous he threw up. But that's like that famous meme of like Mom Spaghetti. He like threw up Mom Spaghetti some shit. And maybe that was like he literally wrote Lose Yourself about the events that happened in 8 Miles movie. So knees weak, arms are heavy, vomit on a sweater already, Mom Spaghetti, he's nervous, all in the first scene. Damn, I really knew all the lyrics to that. So yeah, there's this like rap venue that does battles called The Shelter, hosted and emceed by Eminem's good friend Future. Eminem has a good support group with his friends. You know, he's got a couple of friends. One is called Cheddar, one's Soul, one's this other dude that I can't remember his name, but he's super like philosophical and he's like a DJ and he says some cool stuff. They all have their own personality. Future's the guy that's like trying to really help him out and bring him up. There's this other guy on the side, I keep forgetting his name too, but he's like saying, oh, I got all his connections and I'm gonna help you out, but he ends up like he's like a stupid weasel, kind of tries to help everybody out, even fucking Eminem's like rivals, and like, I don't know, he's kind of a whack guy in general, but I like how everybody, again, plays their role very well. So that guy, even though he's kind of like a scumbag, he plays it well, you know? So there's this dude named Papa Doc. He is the leader of this rap group called, what is it called? The New Hope or the New Hope? Yes, it's Star Wars The New Hope. No, I'm just kidding. It's called the Free World. So Papa Doc's part of the Free World. Free World is this like rap group. They're trying to like really represent Detroit. Eminem's part of the 313. Just, you know, he has his own, he doesn't really have a rap group. Eminem's just Eminem, you know, when it comes down to it. Or B-Rabbit. I ain't gonna call him fucking B-Rabbit. Call him fucking Eminem. Alright? So, you know, starts off with just Eminem, like, I guess not rapping against Papa Doc, but rapping against some other guy, and they do these rap battles. And in the 90s and still to this day, rap battling is within the rap genre, you know, to basically diss and battle against people to display your skill and lyricism and flow and overall personality and how you go about doing everything when it comes to a rap battle. So it's a good way to like expose yourself to different audiences, to have people vibe with you and get into you for your own music and your own rap music. So it's kind of like a huge thing within the culture of rap, you know, for generations. Starts off with one of the most iconic rap instrumentals that's brought back into the film as well at the end of the movie, which is Mobb Deep's Shook Ones Part 2. Fucking love that beat. A lot of people got introduced to that fucking song and that beat through this movie, and I don't think it's a bad thing. You know, listening to, like I said, Tribe Called Quest, like early, like East Coast kind of rap kind of stuff, I kind of knew that, so I kind of like really respected that they use a lot of really cool iconic beats and music in this movie, as well as like they kept bumping Biggie Smalls, which is cool. Starts off, Eminem fucks up on stage, chokes up, doesn't know what to say. He's kind of in his head. He's kind of self-conscious about himself. Where he lives in 90s doom, gloomy, grit Detroit of the 90s. Seems to be one of the many few Caucasian males around. And especially when he's going in to do rap shows, he's definitely one of the only Caucasian males around. And you know, I feel like that he feels like it's used against him a little bit. You know, he's the outsider, the outcast of where he's trying to be, even though he loves rap music and this is where he expresses himself and he feels like he has some talent in. And that's a cool topic just in general. It goes for anything that you do that maybe you don't really feel like you fit in, but like this is something that you enjoy doing and like doing. So, you know, people can relate maybe to that. So, you know, it starts off with that. He gets embarrassed. He gets booed off stage kind of thing. And, you know, it starts off with a low point, you know? And it's constantly one after the other. Low hit to him, low hit to him, low hit to him. He's getting broken down, you know? He walks into his mom just fucking this dude, which is her boyfriend, which is basically the same age as him, you know? And it kind of just shows, and there's not many scenes of his mom anywhere aside from just chilling in her like trailer. But it, like the dialogue that she says and what she does and how she acts and how she goes about dealing with her problems really shows that, like, you know, he's got to deal with a lot of shit whether he has to or not, you know. And one thing that is within this movie is like a lot of the events, a lot of the atmosphere, the environment, the people he's around, what his friends say, his friends' beliefs. He's got to deal with all that. And then as well as like be true to himself and not let all of this shit that's around him affect who he is deep down, you know? And that's another like message within this movie, that it's like, maybe that's who he really was, you know? Maybe that's something that he really had to deal with that was really strongly betrayed in this movie, like greatly, in the fact of, you know, like where you're born in, and like where you're born into, and the people that you have or your family shouldn't really dictate who you are deep down. And sometimes people fall victims to that because, you know, they're not strong enough. And he always tries to suck it up, stay strong, be, you know, true to himself. You know, I mean, he has a sweet side. He has a young sister, like that's maybe like, you know, 5 years old or something like that. And, you know, even though he's going through some shit and sees he doesn't like his mom's boyfriend, you know, you see his sweet side and shit. And, you know, it's a very emotional movie. You know, I got choked up a couple times being like, damn, like, fuck, man. Eminem, I'm sure he's been through a lot of shit in his life, so he could play that really depressed, like, emotionless dude, you know? A lot of the times you see his face, you're like, this motherfucker's emotionless because he's going through some shit and he's gone through some shit. You know what I mean? So, with that said, the atmosphere of this movie is cool. You know, it's early 90s vibe. So they got, one thing I did appreciate is the cars in the movie. You know, you got a lot of Lincolns. You got a lot of, there was like one scene in a parking lot where they had like Pontiacs and Firebirds and like fucking all these cool cars in the movie. You know, I kind of gave it the atmosphere of the time. I think they did a good job. What they really did was like have that vibe of like adding those cars, adding certain elements, you know, that like brought you to the feel like that was like the 90s, the early 90s, you know what I mean? Like probably like 1990 or like 89 to 90 or like 92 to 3. So they only had those classic cool cars in the movie that I really liked. Even his mom's car I thought was pretty dope that he gave him. So like, you know, that for example, like she's trying her best, you know, she's like, oh, you know, he actually, you know, is being a good man. Gave his car to his ex-girlfriend because he's like, yeah, she might be pregnant, and that's kind of how it starts too as well. So he's just trying to do the best for any situation, try to help anybody out that he feels he's responsible for. He tries to take responsibility for a lot of things, you know. He's a true man, you know what I mean? When it comes down to it, he tries to do what he's got to do. He even though he's late for work, he still finds his way to work, even though it's you know, in their eyes, a crappy job, you know. So, hey. He's a shit. Eminem's mom is played by Kim Basinger, which is probably like another or one of the few bigger names. She's a great actress, does a great job in this movie as Eminem's mom, and she plays kind of that like mentally ill, like disfortunate, you know, she's kind of is the way she is because she's got to survive too kind of thing. Kind of is with this deadbeat dude that's kind of the same age as Eminem. Allows him to treat her like shit just because she's got to survive and like make, you know, ends meet with a bunch of shit. And it's kind of, like I said, it's a depressing ass movie, but it's a good one, guys. You know, it's real. It brings you into the world of how certain people may live, you know, in America, in the world. So, you know, it's definitely something that you can definitely, like, experience a lot of shit through this movie. His mom is dating that dude or whatever. He's being a dick. He's like, yo, you got fired from a pizza job. And he's like, at least I have a fucking job. You know, kind of really shows, like, his mom is not making the best choices to have the best atmosphere around. And, you know, unfortunately, she's not very accountable as a person. So she kind of does blame a lot of her own mistakes and her own doing on Eminem, you know, and it's not fair to him. It's just not fair. I mean, he deals with a lot of shit that's not fair. You know, he has a lot of things in his atmosphere from where he's brought up and everything that, like, it's just not fair to him, you know, and he's just gonna have to deal with all this shit, you know, and I don't know, I can relate to that. I'm sure a lot of people could relate to that watching this film, just being like, damn, you know, this dude's going through a lot of fucking shit. He's not asking for it. One thing that I thought was kind of funny was, like, you know, he's fixing his mom's car that his mom gave to him. His mom gave him a car that, like, doesn't work, but he, like, you know, one thing I thought was kind of cool and appreciated is, like, you know, he's a smart kid. He fixed his own car, you know? He knows he's got to, like, learn things to survive kind of thing. So he fixed his own car. While he's fixing his car, you know, his MC friend Future, he's, like, sitting in this car and shit, like, trying to help him fix it, whatever, but, like, Sweet Home Alabama's playing in the trailer that her mom's boyfriend's, like, bumping and singing along to, and then, like, Eminem starts, like, making fun of it and singing it with his friend, and then he starts, like, rapping about his life to the fucking beat of Sweet Home Alabama. I thought that was kind of funny. And, you know, Eminem goes to his job. This is where he meets this his, like, love interest named Alex, which is played by Brittany Murphy. And, you know, apparently, like, I guess Alex, you know, Brittany Murphy, she was there just to see her brother because her brother works there too or something. So it just gave them a reason to kind of, like, meet kind of thing. She plays the role so well, guys. You know, I mean, you know, that scene where Eminem's in with the girls that he's around and kind of like hip hop scene of the early 90s or whatever it may be. Seems like a lot of these girls, they seem grimy as hell. You know, I feel like the girl that Eminem was, like, with, that allegedly was, like, pregnant with his kid, which he ended up being at the bar, and then his friend's like, yo, isn't that your ex-girlfriend? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, you know, she's smoking a cigarette and getting drunk right now. I don't think she's pregnant. So, I don't know. Maybe she kind of did him wrong, too. She kind of left him, and he blamed it on himself, being like, oh, it's just me. I'm not good for you, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, she seemed a little bit better than Alex. You know, I don't know. Alex seems like this grimy ass chick. I don't know what Eminem sees in her, but, you know, she's trying to be a model, move to New York, trying to make moves. I think that's what made him a little more interested, that she's trying to do something a little bit bigger than all these people, and especially the girls that are in Detroit in the scene. So I think that he was like, you know, she's ambitious, I'm ambitious, that's attractive. She's different than the other girls. He's trying to tell future and shit. But when it comes down to it, she's like fucking and sucking every dude to get to the next level, and I'm like, that's fucking grimy, and she's kind of gross, man. You know, I mean, she's up his ass. She's, like, trying to, like, at any moment of any time, like, really just, like, find any time to, like, be with him and hang out with him, you know, especially when he started rapping in front of her and she's, like, getting impressed by him and, like, catching the similar vibe. So they end up going, like, she, you know, sees him at his job or whatever outside, and he, like, brings her up to this, like, fucking place. He works in a steel plant that makes metal parts for cars. A lot of the cars in the early 90s and 80s, they're all mainly, like, metal interior and exterior, so, like, they were just making manually, like, metal shit. But he, like, brings her up into this fucking, like, steel plant and have sex with her in the corner. I'm thinking to myself, he ain't using a condom. I'm like, I would not trust this chick. She is grimy. She's just gonna go up there and, like, be in this, like, grimy ass steel plant, and you're gonna fuck her on the side. I'm like, dude, I'm pretty sure you're, like, I'm not trying to be graphic, but, you know, I don't know what the fuck. It was disgusting, in my opinion. It's kind of gross. A lot of small victories, but a lot of big devastation. That's how I feel about this movie. You know, small victories as in, you know, outside the club, there's a bunch of people doing some rap battle. His friend Future, you know, his friend's African American, so he, you know, like, sometimes, you know, other people that are, you know, within the scene of rap, they kind of give him a little pass because he's like, look, I'm the MC of this place called The Shelter. I'm trying to bring this dude up. And it's kind of like, you know, racism towards the white person, being like, yo, you don't belong here. This is not you. This is not just, like, get out of here kind of thing, you know? But he's always trying to give him that opportunity because he's like, yo, regardless of his race, of his color, he's a talented person. You got to look at talent versus anything. So he gives him opportunities, you know? And, like, Eminem in those opportunities always might be looking like a little shy, but I think out of respect, he's like, you know what, let me like do this respectfully. Let me come in, let me do what I gotta do. And he's really pushed to be able to like, all right, you know, fine, I'll fucking do a little rapping and do a rap battle here and there. But then once he does it, everybody's like, oh shit, you know? And I think the fact of how he goes about doing it respectfully, he gets pushed, he gets to the limit of being like, yo, do it. Here's a fucking microphone, you better fucking do it because you're talented. Show everybody you're talented. Show everybody you're talented. And he's like, pushed to do it. He's self-conscious. He's been pushed down, you know, a lot of devastation in his life, in his atmosphere. His friends, they all live with their moms. Like, no one's really like doing much around him, you know? And he's the only guy that, he only really cares about music deep down. Maybe he even knows to himself, like, there's not much I can do, so I might as well just like stay true to what I love. And I really like, I can relate to that too, you know? Staying true to who you are, and like maybe you don't have the best opportunities, you don't have like a shit ton of money or whatever, and this is like kind of the lay of the land for you, but just do you. Like, you know, if you work on yourself, you never know what could happen, you know? And that's another theme in this movie kind of thing, you know? What else about this movie, guys? All the characters are super believable. I love them, you know? I mean, even Eminem, there's this dude named Cheddar. He shoots himself in the dick because, like, you know, the free world, they come out and they see that, like, this other guy that's, like, trying to be nice with Eminem, being like, yo, I got you a record deal, you're super talented. I mean, there's some people that notice his talents, but when it comes to, like, Eminem trying to, like, perform and, like, really, like, show himself to, like, a crowd, it's just, like, he feels like he's out of place because he's, like, always pinned down to disrespect for what he looks like, you know what I mean? But for the people that do know him, they really support him. They want him to succeed, you know? And this one dude where he's always warned about, like, yo, don't trust this guy. This dude's like trying to be buddies with fucking everybody, you know? And he even sees he's trying to be buddies with this dude. You know, what's his fucking name? Papa Doc, and he's like, yo, like, why are you trying to be buddies with him when you told me you were about to give me a record deal and do all this shit and get my free demo recorded and all this? Like, why are you being with that? Like, why are you trying to be buddies with fucking everybody, you know? Sometimes the dudes with connections and all that, they try to do that, you know what I mean? They try to just be like, look, I can't make enemies, I can't be on somebody's side, I gotta be on everybody's side. But like when it comes to like loyalty, when it comes to people like, you know, that give you promises, you do have to have some kind of loyalty when it comes down to it at the end of the day, you know what I mean? And if that means, you know, if that's your competition and they have something against the other person, you gotta like figure out who you really stand by kind of thing. And Eminem kind of felt betrayed a little bit. And his friend Cheddar, I mean, they were getting into it like outside, you know, Eminem, his friends, Papa Doc, and the free world kind of these dudes. Then fucking Cheddar takes out a gun, and everybody's like, even the Eminem and his friends are like, yo, put the gun away. Because there's a gunshot, he's like, yo, you trying to fuck with me, you trying to fight? Then he shoots himself in the dick. Just ridiculous. It just kind of shows, you know, shit happens. Cheddar ends up being okay. We all think Cheddar might die, but he's all right. Just shot an artery, so there's blood everywhere, and it shows that Eminem cares, you know, and all this stuff. And yeah, you know, what else we got to say about this, you know? So at the end of it, you know, Eminem, you know, he gets, all this shit ends up happening to him, you know? And I feel like that's what gives him this I don't give a fuck attitude. And I think he's gotten to this point at the end of the film where he's like, that chick that I like, I mean, she ends up fucking that dude that's like, has all the connections and everything, because he even says, oh, I'll help you do your modeling shit and I'll give you money and everything, you know? He gets betrayed, he gets put down, he deals with things that are unfair, out of his control. His life is shit in this fucking movie. And I think at the end of the movie, I mean, he has a black eye and shit, and his neck's all bruised up, and he's all fucked up before he goes on stage to rap battle. And it just shows he's like, I don't got anything else. This is all I have, is what I love, which is music and rapping for him. So it's fucking like, at that point, I don't think he gave a fuck about the judgment. I don't think he could even get in his own head at that point. He's just like, I don't give a fuck, you know? And sometimes you have to get there, or when you are there, you gotta like have that strength to say, you know, fuck it. I'm gonna do me, I'm gonna be me, you know? And it was the courage deep down in who you are, deep down inside, you know? of his character, maybe that's what he really had to deal with. You know, a lot of emotions I feel like he could relate to, which helped him create such a great performance in this movie. Eminem acted fucking amazing. There was no other way he could have done it better, in my opinion. Goes on stage, beats everybody in the free world. I mean, it was like 3 or 4 rounds, makes it to the end. Papa Doc, you know, you got the Mobb Deep Shook Ones Part 2 beat come up again. It's the iconic ending scene. And, you know, Papa Doc, you know, you just flip a coin, like who goes first when the rap battle. Papa Doc's like, let this bitch go first, you know, which is Eminem. And Eminem uses it to his advantage. He talks everything about his life. He says, yo, you're going to say all this shit about me, like they all said about me, which is Papa Doc's group. I know who I am. I know what I've gone through. And on top of it, because there was like one scene where he's like chilling in this like, I don't know, like this shitty apartment house or whatever, and they overhear about how like Papa Doc's name's called Clarence, and he actually lives in a nice home with his mom and dad that love each other, and he went to a private school and shit. So aside from fucking Eminem being like, yo, I know all the shit you're gonna say. I know I'm a piece of shit. I fucking live in a trailer park and I have nothing going for myself and my life fucking sucks. But you're a little, like, bitch private school boy and your name's Clarence. He's like, yo, what do you want to say about me? Go ahead. And at the end, like that line, he's like, why don't you tell the audience something that they don't know about me? And I'm like, damn. It shut Papa Doc down. You know, it shut him down in the fact of he created this atmosphere at the end of that battle to be like, what are you gonna say? What are you gonna say that all these dudes didn't say? You're the leader. Show yourself. He sits down, he looks at him, he says, okay, it's your turn, go. You know, he did, and at the end of that, and you see Eminem's face and how he just did his job at the end of the day. I'm like, damn, you did your fucking job, dude. You were true to yourself. You did everything that you were supposed to do, but you showed everybody, including the audience and that rap group, like, yeah, this is who I am. This is what I do. You want to be better than me? Then show yourself that. I'll give you the respect. Here you go. Here's your microphone. If you are better than me, you are better than me. But if you're not, then what the fuck? Stop hating on me. You know? And that's kind of how it ended. And it was a respect of, hey, if you are better at this genre of music, at rap, what you do and what I do, then fine. Then you deserve to win this rap battle. But otherwise, shut the fuck up. Don't be a little bitch. You know, respect people that have the talent, respect people that do well, you know? And that's what Eminem did. That's what he did at the end of the fucking rap battle. He's like, I am me, you are you. Now what do you want to say about me? And then the leader, you know, Papa Doc, he choked up. He had nothing to say. Gave the mic back and walked out. Fucking crowd loved Eminem. You know, they were all on his side at the end. Probably got that record deal. Probably made his demo. Probably did what he wanted to do, you know? And yeah, guys, you know, there's a lot of elements of persevering through your life, regardless of the struggles or the things that are out of control in your life, dealing with the environment and atmosphere of where you are and being true to yourself, but being focused on what matters to you, trying to take care of the people that you care about, that you love. And I mean, there's been moments even in this where, you know, some of that got the best of him, but he's been through shit, you know, and at the end of it, he was trying to apologize to his friend that he was like, yo, fuck you too, but he was like, yo, you don't even have to say sorry to me, man. I mean, this is when he had a black eye and all this shit, and he's like, look, man, like, just go on stage and do a good job, because everybody believed in him, everybody knows his life ain't the most perfect and shit, and, like, the people that knew him, the people that do know him, they care about him, they want him to do good, they know all of these things, all of these characteristics about how great of a person he is deep down, and it did help him, you know, having that support group, but he did it himself, you know, and a lot of strong messages in this movie, a lot of things aside from being a musician. I mean, every musician should watch 8 Mile, you know, I think, you know, it really speaks to Being true to yourself, and trying the best you can with what you're passionate about, regardless of how life is, and that goes up for anything in life, whether you want to be a doctor or a lawyer or a chef, or you might not like your job, but you do it anyway to make the money to do something greater that you're actually interested in. I mean, hey, it just touches upon a lot of things, and I'm not surprised that it got a lot of awards and it did so well, because regardless of a musical movie, it's just has so many great messages. The acting's great. So yeah, these are my final thoughts about the movie. Do I have much to complain about? Not really, I feel like it's a quick flick as well. Nothing lingers, all characters are likable and hateable in the respect that they want you to like and hate them, and it hits all the beats correctly, and I think there was one scene where it was like he was fighting, like literally, like physically fist fighting his mom's boyfriend. I feel like I was in the trailer with them. There was so many like intense moments when it came to screaming and yelling and fighting where I'm like, damn, Eminem in general can do this shit because maybe he's been through some shit or some exact shit where he's like, oh yeah, I know this, I know how this feels, so I could do it, you know what I mean? And it really made this movie what it is, guys. Like, Eminem made this movie, 5 stars, so I would give this probably the highest rating. 4.5. I feel like 5 out of 5 is too much. But it's a great movie, guys. Still holds up. I really think it's going to be a timeless movie for generations. It deserves all the awards. It deserves the praise. It is, man. I mean, if you're watching this or listening to this podcast because you love this movie, fuck yeah. If you've never watched this movie, like I said, if you're not a musician and you just want a good, heartfelt drama, this is it as well. If you like Eminem, you have to watch the movie. I mean, overall, it's probably like one of the best musical dramas ever made to this day, and that's why fucking 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Trying was made, because of how much money and how much success and popularity and awards that this movie got. They were like, okay, well, 50 Cent's popping, why don't we make a movie about him? Guys, it wasn't even close to this movie. Not even close in tone, in anything. The acting, none of it. You know what I mean? Like, if I watched 8 Mile first and then I watched 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Trying, I would think 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Trying sucked even more than I thought it did before. I really don't like that movie compared to this one. I'd rather watch this movie 3 times in a row than watch that movie once. The fucking Get Rich or Die Trying shit. I mean, Get Rich or Die Trying ain't terrible, but this movie blows it out of the fucking water, guys. So yeah, that's my review on 8 Miles, Eminem's 8 Miles. I was about to say Eminem's Get Rich or Die Trying, but no. Also, Eminem's featured in the 50 Cent game. There's actually a cheat code where you can be Eminem. You can play as Eminem in the game. I don't know if there's any other games that Eminem's featured in that I can remember, but that was a game that he was in. Yeah, guys. So thanks for watching or listening. You can listen to this podcast now on Apple Music as well as Spotify, and you can watch the film version right here on YouTube. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for your interest. My name is Daniel Lewis. You could find me on Instagram, Daniel Lewis Music. Hit me up with a DM if you got a suggestion on a movie, music, anything. Or if you're an artist that you want me to plug for the recommendations of the week, I would love to hear your music. We cover all different kind of music when it comes to rock, metal, pop, electronic, and rap. One of my favorite rappers is Logic. You can make fun of me all you fucking want. I like Logic. I think he's a cool guy. I grew up with Eminem. I even bleached my hair back in the day. I used to rap. But that was when I was like 10 to 13 years old. And like I said in the beginning of this review, I started with rap first, guys. So I know a lot about rap music. But anyway, my name's Daniel Lewis. This is the Microphone Madness Podcast. Thank you guys for viewing. You guys have a wonderful rest of the day or night. Peace.